So hi everyone, welcome to the latest in the series of WATCHPRO Originals. Today I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Giselle Rufer from Delance Swiss Watches. Launched 25 years ago, back in 1996. Giselle, shall we start? Just let me know about the brand and the story of the brand.
Yes, sure. I created Delance 25 years ago. I was working for a few years in the watch industry, and I had seen that there was usually watches for men, or you were making a small version for women. And I saw that the woman is not a smaller version of a man, that we are something completely different. And I decided to create something very unique for women, made by women, for women, a watch that symbolizes the value of time women share all over the world, and also also all our talents. So that is why I decided to create this watch with women, because you know, in the watch industry, people think they are only men working in the watch industry. It's not the case. Half of the people in the watch industry are women, but most of the time they are working behind a man, and very often doing a lot of very good job. But on the scene, you only see the man. And when I decided to create my company, I said, okay, I am the only woman in Switzerland who will create a very unique watch for women. And I also have to create a company for making this watch. And I said, I will do it as a woman, really something even more feminine, but not feminine in the sense of too feminine. We have a watch that we use here. It's shikimiki. That means like a little girl with, you see, I was wanting to do something very strong and with a lot of meaning. And that is what I developed this watch with women. And then I had the problem to find a name for my company, because you know that a name for a brand is very important to have the good name, to have a name that has a flower, a meaning. And by chance, my maiden name was very appropriate, and also you can read all my story in my book, yeah, that you can see behind me here, Butterfly in a Storm, and you will understand that I was born to create a watch for women, but I didn't know that when I was younger. It just happened that it was my destiny. And you see, all women, we also have a story with our father. And my father died when I was 8 years old. And he was making watches. And he was in the stage of creating his own brand that he would have named Delance too. And he died. He was 32 and I was 8 years old. And all my life I thought I could grow without a father, but probably I missed him. I don't know, because I don't know, because I think I am quite well. I am quite well, but I had this feeling that perhaps I need to reconnect to my father. And when I had the idea to create my company, the name of Delance just came. It was obvious that I should use this name. So I was reconnecting to my father. And in the same way, I have the feeling that perhaps he's looking at me and telling me, go walk in beauty, my daughter, you see. And also I was wanting, I live in Switzerland in a small place, because anyway, Switzerland is small and even the big city are not so big. So, but I live in a small village, but in the center of the watch industry, near to Bienne. Bienne is one of the big city in watchmaking, just not even 5 kilometers. And all around, if I take my car, I can go to all places where I need to go to find a supplier in less than 1 hour. Excuse me, in less than 1 hour. And so it is easy to organize my company, my job. I hope you understand my English. It's okay.
Yes, definitely. You mentioned the position of women within the industry, and back in 25 years ago in 1996. How do you think that's changed now?
The percentage of women in the watch industry is the same, but now you have some women who are coming not to the top, but approaching to the top. But it is still very difficult because I don't know, it is like in bank or in insurance or in places where men are very dominating, and it changed. It's a little bit. What have changed, for example, when I created my company, I was speaking about spirituality in a company. I was speaking about harmony, about all these values which are very important for us women. And I had the answer that you cannot make business with good intention or with you see, with love or things like that. But now I am convinced that we have to change the way people make business and incorporate more harmony, more equality, more diversity in all places of work. But that is something general. Perhaps you prefer that I speak about my watches. I don't know.
That brings me on to my next question. Not only how has, I asked obviously about the place of women in the industry has changed, how have your collections and your watches evolved in 25 years?
When I created the watch, I was wanting to create um, a symbol, something like a talisman, like a talisman for women, to be like a lucky charm for them, to remember them anytime that they are great, they are good, they are excellent, and they can go forward and continue the job. And at that time, uh, some people were thinking that I was crazy, that I was, I don't know, belonging to a sect or something like that, you see. But nowadays, everybody is speaking about spirituality. I don't know if they understand the term, but they speak about it, and they accept it now. That has changed a lot since that time. And also another thing that evolved 25 years ago. The watch industry was not, they were selling women, they can just wear a man watch because it is too expensive to develop special watches for women. And we only sell 10% of watches for women. So we are not interested in that field. And now you can see that all the big brands, all they ask women to be the model for their watches. They wear men watches, but they show women women wearing men watches for men. But perhaps oh, it's difficult to explain that. When I was young, I was also wanting to be considered as good as a man. Now, I want to be considered as good as a woman. And because women are as good as a man, I don't want to fight with men. I love men. I have a husband. I have a son. I have grandchildren. There is no problem about that. But I am a woman with all my quality, with all my experience. I am an engineer. I have studied art. You see, I am convinced that I am as good as a woman. So I don't need to compete with men. I just want to compete with myself and to be the best I can be. And that is what I want to say to all women and also to all men, because you are a young man, and I think you have a lot of women around you, and it's very important to appreciate you as a man and women as women without competing, just being who we are. And that was what I was wanting to say with my watch. And in that time, it seems to be crazy. And now there is a lot of women, uh, quite high level women, wearing a Delance watch. And there is some famous woman in your country, but I don't know if I can say the name. But some famous women in the UK are wearing a Delance or having a Delance watch. And how can I say that? I was a lot of time in your country, and but it's difficult to say something about the country of somebody else without making mistake. Perhaps there is you have women in all field, in all walk of life in the UK, but when I speak with them, they have the same concern as we have in Switzerland, as we have in France, or all over the world, in Europe. It's not always the same level or the same thing, but different things. But we still all have to, I don't want to say to fight, because it is not the right word. We have to do something so that we are appreciated, so that we can develop ourselves. You see, I speak to you a lot about that because it will. You perhaps heard about the fact that in Switzerland we have the right to vote since 50 years. This year is the anniversary of the right to vote for women, and that is only 60 years. And I can speak a lot of time. Do you have other question about watchmaking?
Yes, I was going to sort of tapped into what you were saying there about Switzerland, about the UK and France. Which markets did you see, and you mentioned spirituality within the watchmaking, which markets did you see first become interested and really interested within Delance and the brand and your vision?
If I would know exactly, you see, it would be very easy. I can tell you my impression about probably the United States, where a lot of women are also an entrepreneur or have the money to buy the watch by themselves, and they are used to buy things by themselves. In UK, perhaps a little less, because the relationship between husband and wife is still that you buy something expensive. As a woman, it's a man who buys a watch for his wife or his fiancée or whatever. But in the other way, English women are more elegant than American women, and the Delance watch is elegant. And you have another place is Asia, China, Thailand, Taiwan, all those places. Those people are very interested in symbolic, in spirituality, and in all these things. But they are very oriented about the brand. They are brand oriented, only brand. If you are not a famous brand, whatever you do. But all over the world, there is a kind of people who arise, who come. You see, it's what we call the créatif culturel, cultural creatives people, and those people are 60% are women. They are they have a spiritual evolution, and they are concerned about what happens all over the world. A lot of things, and that is my clientele. And really also, and they don't look so much for brand, and they are interested to know the people behind the brands. They are interested to know where this product is coming from. And for me, I I belong to all the organizations who are protecting animals, nature, all these things. I am very concerned by ecological problem, you see. So I do my best to have the proper gold, proper diamond. It's not always easy to be sure, but at least I make the job to find to be the most sure I can be, you see.
Yeah, just sort of on that, you mentioned that obviously it's the 25 years for Delance this year. Have you got any plans as a way of celebrating that with watchmaking or what you offer or things you've got, any events you have planned?
I will tell you something I have written. You see, I can tell you about the last year. Last year was a very difficult year for everybody all over the world. But for me, also, I lost my mother. So I have to overcome the fact that I lost my mother, and that the world was like a turmoil, or I don't know exactly. But I live in a very beautiful place. And I used to go for a walk, and it was, I think so, it was February, end of February, beginning of March. I was walking around, and I was worrying. You see, 1 year ago, we didn't know what could happen. It was really very, we were facing something that we thought it was impossible, that something like that could happen. And I was walking, and suddenly I saw, oh, I don't know the name in English. You see this little white flower that you see in the spring. We say personnage. They are like little Glock. You see which one? And I I saw this little Glock, and I said, oh, but the nature, they don't care about the COVID, you see. The nature is doing exactly the same like last year. And then I went back to my office, and I looked for the meaning of this personnage. Huh? How do you know the name in English?
I'm not
No.
sure.
Okay, no, don't worry. And I look, and the meaning of this little flower is perseverance and happiness for the future. You see? And so I said, okay, I think I will create a collection of watches with the meaning of perseverance and happiness forever. And I was thinking about what could I do that has this meaning. And suddenly I received a call from a miniaturist. Miniaturist in English is okay. You see people who paint very little things, and they make a painting on the dial. And she said to me, yes, we are, I am a miniaturist. You see, I have no order now, but I would like to do something. I love what you do, and I would like to paint dials for you. And I thought, okay, dials, it is a little bit too, come on. I was not wanting to paint flowers on my dial.
Yeah.
And she said, "Oh, man, you should." And then I thought, okay, I saw this personage and the meaning of the personage. And I said, okay, come and explain me what you want to do. And she came, with a friend of her, which is also uh, making engraving. And they both come together and they said, you know, we have no order. We don't know what to do. We would like to develop something with you, and you pay me when you sell it. So I said, okay, if you agree to do that, I will say okay. And then we spoke together. We choose the dyes, we choose the color, we choose the flowers. And I gave them the dials and the cases. And a few months later, I received everything. I assembled the watches, and I had to make a research about flowers, about the meaning of flowers, and so. And if you read my story, you see I am very interested with symbolic, with the meaning of things. And I decided to call my collection Floralia. And Floralia is an event that was in Roma, in Italy, in the spring, in the honor of the goddess Flor, to celebrate the spring. That is why I call this collection Floralia. And it's too long to explain, but I will send you the paper, what I have written about it. And the collection will be on my website for the first day of the spring. So you will have to wait until the 20th or 19th of March to see that. I can't send you them, but don't show them.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, and I can tell you they are beautiful. They are very delicate, but they are elegant and spiritual. And everybody I show them, they said, yes, I would have think that those flowers, it would be not exactly the meaning of your watch, but finally the way it is done, it's much very well.
Yeah, what a sort of a perfect way to celebrate the anniversary too with that new collection, hopefully for the spring and for the time when COVID hopefully comes to more of an end in Europe and around the world. So
Yeah,
hopefully a good way to cap off a turbulent and tough year for everybody.
yeah. And also another thing I could do, because you see, I would like to spread, to say people to have hope. And I have heard that all the people who had project is okay, you understand? During this period, they could survive because instead of being focused on the COVID, I was focused on my project. And so COVID exists, okay, I have to do it, to work with it, and but I have my attention to this project. And the other project is, I can almost say was, the translation of of Butterfly in a Storm. And I have this story now in English, German, French, and Spanish. And I hope to have other language very soon. But these 4 languages will be ready. English and German are already available on Amazon. French and Spanish in a few days or months. It's done. It should be. It just has to be organized. And that is something I want to communicate with the watch, is believe in yourself, trust your talent, trust your energy, be all you can be. It is marvelous to be who you are, whoever you are.
Perfect. Zoom is telling me we've not got long left, and I think that's a perfect way to finish. So I'll say again, thank you very much for your time, Giselle, and we will all look forward to seeing the collection in the spring.
Sure. And I hope to come to London very soon, and I will take the collection with me.
We'll look forward to it. Thank you.